Hey guys, DFG Hulk here. So this is the second reaction. So this one's actually requested by a subscriber, Josh Cardell. So we're reacting to How Strong is Saitama, One Punch Man by Imaginary Access. I think I've seen this before, but it was like a while ago. So you know, I've done some research on Saitama. Of course, I did one before I reacted to the freaking Hulk versus Saitama because I didn't want to look like an idiot, saying Hulk would win against Saitama. So I had to be sure. But anyway, so we're about to watch this. Let's react. 3, 2, 1.
Hello, I'm Tyler, this is the Imaginary Axis, and, one of the most common questions I get from you
so I remember this guy. So I've actually seen a couple of his videos, a lot of his Marvel Multiverse and DC Multiverse videos.
But that's only because the genre is so obsessed with strength that over the years we've developed some really overpowered characters. And as they grow stronger, their limits just become
Winter
harder
Soldier
and
does
harder
not
to
is like
define.
no.
Take Goku, for
Flash,
instance. A character who, over years of writing, became so strong that Akira Toriyama had to introduce literal gods to the series just to give him a good fight. Or the Incredible Hulk, who famously set the strength bar so high for Marvel that Stan Lee wrote in Thor and the Asgardian Pantheon as the only logical way of taking things up.
That's nothing.
When it comes to superheroes, the introduction of overpowered characters is often a sign of literary maturity. The protagonist has overcome so much that his or her feats now have to be titanic. Their enemies have to challenge the audience's imagination. Because we want the stories to continue, but we don't want our heroes to be stagnant. And it would be boring if they just beat every opponent in one punch. Right?
Really?
Right, and that's exactly what Saitama from the popular One Punch Man franchise sets out to prove. If you're not familiar with this fairly new anime, manga, and webcomic, I highly recommend it. The series is a hilarious deconstruction of the action anime and superhero genres that aims to ask the viewer, if a hero is so strong that he can beat anyone, what's even the point of the story? If Superman's message is that overwhelming power results in the loss of humanity, then Saitama's message is that overwhelming power results in the loss of serious conflict. Which is kind of a big deal when it comes to storytelling. One Punch Man is the tale of a brand new superhero who's trained his powers to the point that he can end practically any fight in a single half-hearted punch. And his life is boring because of it. Seriously, this guy has
This is one thing though that no one's really brought up is that Saitama doesn't have infinite stamina
Most people
or
they could survive anything.
the endurance to
naturally, the question
eat
on
like
everybody's
Goku does. Because if you remember
remember
one of the episodes, he competed with Genos against in an eating contest and lost.
Well, I'm not gonna lie.
So I'm just saying if he's like completely endurable,
upon doing the research, they're a lot
if he could pretty much do everything that Superman and Goku could do, then how come he can't
that doesn't mean I don't have numbers.
ingest
At the time of this
same amount
recording,
of
Saitama's strength is by and
That's
large
just me, 'cause
undefined
I'm just
in
looking
every one
into
of his
it.
appearances.
I guess
That doesn't mean he's killed literally every opponent in one punch, but it's
God,
extremely
speed sounds
unclear
Sonic. How many times he got
kicked
punched in the nuts by Saitama?
Look, here he is destroying the Sea King in one punch. A monster no other hero even managed to match. Then this guy somehow survives one of his attacks.
Yeah.
Here's Saitama using his special Serious Punch. But what does serious even mean in this context? Is it synonymous with full power? Unlikely. Or is he just putting a little more effort into his punch than usual? Measuring Saitama's strength is like getting a call from a friend who claims he's bought some soda and wants you to guess how much he has. You ask him to give you a hint, and he says it's more than 4 fluid ounces. Sure, now you have some idea how much soda he bought, but ultimately he could still have anything from 4.1 fluid ounces to the entire freaking soda company. To answer this problem, we'll start from a minimum. The first character we ever see survive one of Saitama's punches and keep going is this guy, Lord Boros.
I don't know. I feel like
He's an
Titan
alien
might have
conqueror
survived his
who,
punch
like
because
Saitama,
his
could
head was
find
still
any
intact.
worthy opponents
It
in his
looked
own
like he just
galaxy
fractured his jaw.
and traveled to
but
Earth
I
in
could be
hopes to
wrong.
thoroughly
He could be
fight.
dead. I don't know.
He found one. He definitely found one. And upon realizing Saitama was keeping up with him fairly easily, Boros launched this attack. Collapsing Star, Roaring Cannon. Saitama managed to completely cancel out the attack with a serious punch, so we can use it as a point of reference to determine how strong Saitama might be.
Well,
And I
mean, that's just the name of an attack. It's not actually a collapsing star.
Primarily based on Boros' bragging, the official One Punch Man data book, and the fact Saitama didn't use his full strength to repel it anyway.
Yeah.
If one of Saitama's serious punches can cancel out a planet-busting beam of energy, then it has to generate at least 2.24 times 10 to the 32nd joules. That's the equivalent of 107 trillion of our most powerful nuclear weapons exploding in your face, or more energy than the sun gives off in a full hour. That's a lot, but it's not satisfying. Like I said before, there's just no indication that this is Saitama's peak. We want to figure out how strong his strongest punch is, but this is the strongest
They're never
one
gonna do
he's
that,
shown us.
unfortunately.
Now we've run into a problem. How do you determine the full strength of something that hasn't shown its full strength? Well, you have to go back and analyze its source of power. So according to Saitama, he unlocked his overwhelming strength by doing 100 push-ups, 100 sit-ups,
Even by fictional standards, this makes absolutely no sense.
10-kilometer run every day for 3 years.
Goku
He
trains
also
like hell
didn't have air
every single
conditioning?
day for his entire life.
Well,
And
alright,
he-
what would happen
know,
if you did 100
if Saitama was
push-ups,
stronger than
100
him,
sit-ups,
that
100
doesn't.
squats,
Yeah,
and 10
no.
kilometers of running
3
every
years
day
of
for
training
3 years.
versus like a lifetime of
There's
training.
actually a very excellent
and being
video
half
on that
human,
by Jackson,
and being
personal
alien.
fitness trainer here on YouTube who teaches his viewers about various fictional training
Oh yeah, I've
methods.
seen this guy's videos
I
actually.
highly recommend watching it if you get the chance,
just see that
but
one,
spoiler alert, it doesn't make you strong enough to blow planets away.
Obviously.
There has to be something else going on here. Humans just aren't supposed
So
to
far,
be
the only
on
other
Saitama's
character
level.
that's
No matter how
maybe
much
is stronger
training
than
they do.
Saitama is
And
Blast,
those are the
but we haven't
exact
seen
same
him do
thoughts
much
the brilliant Dr.
yet.
Genus had upon meeting Saitama for the first time and learning about his method for achieving ultimate
Oh, in the
power.
manga.
The One Punch Man webcomic reveals to us that after that meeting, the good doctor apparently devoted his time to determining what really made Saitama so strong. This is what he came up with.
Oh yeah, the limit thing.
Rather than a type of artificial evolution, I witnessed a more amazing power. My research had lost. That is what I thought. He had removed his limiter. No matter how much effort they put into it, every living being has a certain limitation to their growth. A living being has a set growth limit. Grow too strong, and the burden on the wielder could make them lose control, like a monster that has lost their mind. That is why God has made each and every living being so that it cannot grow further than a certain degree, for their own survival and sanity. This growth restriction is known as a limiter. However, he had pushed himself to surpass his limitations, and succeeded in removing his limiter.
Yeah, but Goku does that all the time.
Well, that explains a lot.
And the
What
Hulk
Dr.
does
Genus
that all
is
the time.
talking
if
about
he-
is
if
something
he ever
called
had
the
a limit.
Plateau Effect.
Yeah.
There are indeed limits to everything's growth, and whether you realize it or not, you have encountered them before. You know how it takes effort to get stronger, run faster, or develop
Well,
new skills? That metaphorical hill you have to climb to improve is the beginning of a force of nature known as the Plateau Effect. And the higher you get on the hill, the steeper it becomes. Workout routines that used to be effective give you less and less improvement over time, even if you're lifting heavier weights or running longer distances. You can switch up your diet, sleeping schedule, or entire training method to surpass certain levels of steepness, but eventually, everyone reaches a level that's so steep, it might as well be a plateau. There's no way to improve. Or, in Dr. Genus's terms, a limiter. But Saitama has apparently broken his limiter. He no longer has to put any effort into becoming stronger. He just is. He's reached a point where he's already too strong for most opponents, and if he were to release his full power... There is no full power. He doesn't have a limit. Okay, this is going too far. As I mentioned at the beginning of the video,
I still think
One Punch
Saitama's
Man
planetary
is
level,
a
though. Like,
deconstruction.
I don't think he's like
Saitama
universal
is meant to
level
satirize
strength.
popular shonen protagonists and superheroes. This limitless strength he possesses is most likely an in-story representation of the up to 11 trope. A recurring theme in the action, anime, and superhero genres
if
that
he is
starts out with a character
limitless,
appearing to
then-
reach his or her limit,
Okay.
but then suddenly gaining the power to push past
Well, yeah,
that
see, like,
limit
you know, Goku,
through
Vegeta,
determination,
those guys
the power
train
of
every single
friendship,
day. I mean, I don't see
love,
how
the
they
ability
don't
to
have,
win,
they
or
break
any
their
number of other
limits.
things.
I mean, they do all the
Saitama's
time.
power set satirizes this by preemptively
I guess
breaking
Saitama
his
just 'cause
limiter,
he's the
so
first
he
human to
always
do it?
randomly
Or-
has excess power in reserve, no matter how strong his opponent is. So does this mean Saitama has limitless strength? Probably. I mean, it's a satire, guys.
Yeah,
He is a
obviously,
joke
it's not meant to be taken seriously,
Look
which
at
is
this
why
guy.
it's
He's
silly
making
to
fun
put
of
him
the
against,
genre and the
serious
cliches that come
opponents
with it. And the
that
most
have shown
basic,
greater feats
literal
than him.
punchline, Saitama wins without trying, because he's overpowered. If you approach someone and say, I have this totally serious fighting character who can definitely beat Saitama in a fight, the joke's kind of going over your head. The character actually reminds me of Popeye the Sailor Man to a certain degree. While Saitama's a more direct commentary
did see
on
that
shonen
fight between
protagonists and
Popeye and
superheroes,
Saitama
and
by
Popeye's
animation
more about
rewind. That
visual
was a good
humor,
one.
their basic purposes and main punchlines are actually nearly identical. The entire story is meant to be a joke. And the lead joke is A, Saitama wins without trying, and B, Popeye wins without trying, after eating spinach.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean both stories can't have legitimately dramatic or heartfelt moments, but at the narrative's center, it's just meant to be silly. There's no real limit to their strength because the story isn't about their limits. It's about using their lack of limits to make you laugh. Now, could this change sometime in the future? Sure, One Punch Man is still evolving, and plenty of series have changed their genres and main purposes over time. This also doesn't mean Saitama is completely undefeatable. Omnipotence by definition can beat him, and so can pretty much anyone else if he gets wrapped up in
If
his
Saitama was really like that
Take Squirrel
powerful,
Girl, for instance, a Marvel joke
Oh,
character
this.
whose whole gag is defeating overpowered opponents off screen. Her entire joke is literally designed to make characters like Saitama play the straight man and lose. The real point here is that currently Saitama is as physically strong as he needs to be to make the audience laugh.
yeah.
That being
That's the
said,
thing, like,
there's
if
still
he's, like,
absolutely
completely, like,
insistence upon holding him to regular
so
laws,
powerful that everything,
there
like, he
is
negates
still
everything
one
around
more
him, then he pretty much
technique
would be a
we can
black
use to
hole.
try to
You know,
define
like,
his
nothing
strength.
would basically
We
be
have
able to touch him
qualify
without
the
being
logical
pulled like some sort of
fallacy
gravitational
known as proof by
effect
example.
that would collapse
Also known as
around him.
inappropriate
So he wouldn't be able to walk around the
generalization
planet without
or
destroying it if he was
limits
truly
fallacy.
that powerful.
By example,
Think about
when
it.
someone claims to have
Worldbreaker
hundreds of
Hulk
examples of
could have
something
destroyed the
or proof
planet
of
if he had
general
took 6
statement.
steps on the
Take
Earth.
the Legend of Zelda.
And that was when he was
My
completely
hardcore
holding back
Zelda fans
and
out
not
there
trying
know that when
whatsoever
Ganon has the
to
Triforce
do anything
of
bad.
power, he can only be defeated by the Master Sword or the Silver Arrows. It's been stated multiple times throughout the franchise, and it's true in the mechanics of the games themselves. After all, as we all know,
It is written, only Link can defeat Ganon.
skip it.
Oh my.
So let's say someone poses the following question. What if Ganon had the Triforce of Power and was wreaking havoc in the Marvel 616 universe? Could anyone stop him? The
Yeah.
correct answer to this question is yes. But someone using the proof by example fallacy might say, Ganon can only be defeated by the Master Sword or the Silver Arrows. Since the Marvel Universe doesn't have any of those things, no one
They
can
have
stop him.
items like those. They
But the
do.
Hulk has shown strength feats above anything Ganon has ever done.
He can just, yeah,
Bigger
he
than
could
shreds.
destroy him. I'm sorry.
Not fatal, he doesn't have the Master Sword. Doctor Strange has
Okay.
magical powers beyond anything ever shown in The Legend of Zelda. He could just drop a dimension on him or scatter his soul across universes. Wouldn't work, he needs the Master Sword.
No, he
With
doesn't.
the Infinity Gauntlet, Thanos could literally rewrite
Yeah,
reality
he
to wipe
doesn't
Ganon
need
out of
the Master
existence.
Sword or the Silver
Not
Arrow.
unless he can use the Gauntlet to get his hands on the Master Sword first.
He could.
As you can see, proof
could
by
if he
example
wanted to
takes
just make
one
one up.
general rule and extrapolates it out far
there you
beyond
go.
anything it's ever been successfully applied to. It's a flawed argument, and it eventually becomes absurd. So if you're not going to acknowledge Saitama as a joke character who has no limits by the author's own intentions in order to poke fun at tropes and
I
cliches,
have, but at the
then I
same
suppose the
time,
next best thing you
I
can
disagree
do
with,
is
you know,
extrapolate
everyone
his
saying that
power
he's
out
completely
slightly beyond what we've seen before.
OP and indestructible.
Considering how little effort
You know, put him up
Saitama
against the
puts into
Omni
things,
King
I
from
think
Dragon Ball
double
Super.
probably
He'd
sounds
wipe him
good.
out. He'd wipe him out.
Okay,
Omni King
well,
would wipe out
if you got
Saitama. If anything.
well, ultimately, it's up to your own perception. But I guess what I'm trying to say is, I get the impression Saitama was written to have no physical limits.
I'll say
And
this
he was
though,
written this way
he's the strongest
specifically to
character
make
in his
you
own
laugh and
universe.
smile.
That is
Personally,
definitely
I
the
can't think of a
case.
better reason to go along with it.
At least
So
when it
smile
comes to
sometime.
like characters from
There
his
are a
own
lot of
universe,
people
yeah, he's the
working really hard
strongest.
to make sure you do.
But most of the characters he's faced, at best, are about our planetary level. So that, anyways, that was how strong is Saitama, One Punch. But yeah, this is a good video. It refreshed a lot of my memories of Saitama's feats and stuff. Because again, everything he's done, I can name a couple characters that have done the exact same thing on a much grander scale. Saitama punching through a meteor that's city-sized. Hulk, the Grey Hulk, weakest form of the Hulk, jumped through an asteroid 4 times the size of Earth and shattered it. So, does that mean that he's stronger than Saitama? I mean, that's a pretty good feat right there, and at his weakest state. Let's not even start on World Breaker Hulk, but forgetting about the Hulk for a sec. There's Goku, who trains every single day, non-stop, and is constantly improving himself, and has broken past so many limitations that his body just wouldn't be able to handle previously. He's not even human. He's an alien with an already starting strength that's much greater than a regular human's. So, even as a kid, he was really strong. Anyways, guys, I enjoyed this video. It was good. After this, guys, Barney the Aftermath, remastered, and we're gonna have that. I'm gonna work on that. But in the meantime, I'll do more reactions and vlogs, and I still gotta finish part 4. I'm waiting till my hair grows back so I can do part 4 of Barney Great Adventure, the movie review series part 4. I need to get this back, but yeah. Anyways, have a nice day, everyone. As always, Hulk out, and yeah, happy birthday to me, I guess.